I have a card today showing one of the new backgrounds and the new background nobles. They match perfectly for that. I'll show you the items we'll be using for today's video. From the Finishing Touches, the Exquisite Poppy. Here is the Swiss Collection background die. And the new double pierced background rectangle. Now these rectangles are different in their shape and orientation to the other rectangles that we've done in the Noble collection. They are designed to fit with the backgrounds. I'm also going to be using a little color cloud. This is the Chic Viola. This is going to be used for our flowers, just to give it a little bit of color. Pop that over. Now I want to show you some cutting first. So I'm going to use a piece of black card and the Swiss background. Now this is a very detailed die. It's done in different sections here, but one of the ways to cut it is to do it in sections. It just makes it so much easier that way. I'm going to center it onto a piece of black card. Let's get some tape. Pop that into place. Bring over our cutting plate and put the clear plate on top. And I'll tell you what, another thing just to point out, when you have a die that's really detailed and especially large, sometimes it's very easy or very difficult to have it run through straight across like this, because that is all hitting the same part of the pressure point. So if you turn it a little bit and it hits a corner, it actually makes it a little easier to roll. There we go, and I'm going to run it back towards us. Okay, let's check it. That looks like it's cut quite well. I'm going to use the tool-in-one, take out a few of the bits. And we're going to take this die out. We can reuse the tape. Pop that back onto our magnetic sheet. So I've got just a few little bits and bobs that need to be popped out here. So you can see that cut really nicely around the outside. So I'm going to line up the next die in the set to cut the next section. And I'm skipping over the cutting edges, just going to the decorative piece. I'm going to pop that down right in the middle. Go back to our tape and get it nice and centered. That looks good. Pop that down onto our cutting plate. And run it back. Okay. Take our tool-in-one across that. Take out some of the bits. Pop that off. There we go. So you can see that's so much easier to cut that way. And we're going to do the last section. Let's just leave those. We'll get them all together at the same time. And reuse these pieces of tape. Pop this right into the middle there. Center that. That looks good. Put that down. Tape on both sides and make sure you don't have any of the little bits left on your cutting plate. They'll leave an indent in your card. Run this one through. Now I know it is a little bit more work to do it separately, but you'll find that it cuts so much easier that way that it will actually save you time in the long run. Pop my tape off of this. Oops. Get under there. There we go. There, you can see how nice that looks all cut. I've got a little bit of tape left in the center there, but really beautiful job. I've got one I've done ahead of time, so I'm going to pop this to the side, tidy up all my little bits, and we'll bring this one forward. Now I've gone ahead and just glued this to a piece of white card, and I will give you a quick measurement on that, just so you know what size. The black card that I started with was 7.5 inches by 5.5, and then I matted it with a slightly wider white card so the white shows through behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop that onto my background where I've done my usual piercing. I've done a little bit of matting and layering, and I've got some mounting foam just to give it a little bit of dimension. And I've chosen to use some Wisteria card with it because it matches so pretty with the Chic Viola color I'm going to use on my flowers, and a little bit of black to tie in that same color. So the next thing I've done is I've gone ahead and cut frames. Now these, like I said, they've been designed to fit the backgrounds, which are 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So they match just perfectly. And you've got one extra larger one that you can do some matting with if you like, and then they go in the same sort of configuration. And these match really nicely with these two. So I've taken 2 of the larger dies, I've cut a frame, I've added some mounting foam to the back of it, and I've just cut this out of the Wisteria card, so you've got that really pretty lavender sort of color. I'm going to pop that down, and a little bit of that black will show from outside of it. Try and get it as straight as possible. There we go. And then I've decided to leave one area open and go with the smaller one, and this is just using the 2 smallest dies in the set to cut a very thin frame. And we're going to take the backing off the mounting foam with this one, pop this in place, and that will sit right around that center, like that. So we're starting to build up our background now. Now the next thing I've done is I've gone ahead and cut some of the poppies, and I've got a couple here and a few started. Let me bring these in, and a little bit of our color cloud. We're going to do some inking. I have a smoothie. I'm just going to give the edges a little bit of a hit with this. Just right on the edge of this one, which I haven't inked yet. Bring in that same color. If you want it paler, you can take some of the color off onto a piece of card. If you want it a little deeper, you can ink it more than once. And then I also like to just use a pad, and you can just find a ball tool here and give it a little bit of forming from the back, and that makes a really nice little flower. Okay, and then I can pop that right down in the center. Poke that up, and we'll use some glue in the middle of that one. Go. Put the 2 pieces together to have a nice circular piece there. And then I've got a smaller one that I've done and a couple larger ones, and I'm going to actually make this just a little thicker, so I'm going to take one of the medium-sized ones into the center of that. So we have a really nice full flower. And I went ahead and cut the little stamens in black, just tying in that same black and lavender color with a white pearl in the middle. And I'm going to go ahead and ink my sentiment just around the edge a little bit with the same Chic Viola color, just to pick up that nice little edge color. And there's usually enough ink left on your smoothie just to do that. There we go. Okay, so next, I'm going to put my flowers into place. I've tied a little piece of black jute into a bow. I'm going to seat that right onto the corner here. A little piece of tape there. Put my larger flower right in the middle of that one. And take the 2 smaller ones and set them opposite in the other corner. One right here. One right here. And these poppies are nice because you have several different sizes to choose from too. And then we'll finish it off with the sentiment right in the middle, and it'll fit just perfectly right there. And then add some pearls to a few little accents around your die cut, and you have a beautifully stunning card. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video today. I look forward to seeing you again soon.